Facebook has just bought out Oculus Rift for $400 million in cash and $1.6 billion in Facebook stock. So this is some news that has annoyed a hell of a lot of people. So for those of you that don't know, Oculus Rift are these VR goggles that you may have seen a number of people wearing whilst playing computer games. The idea behind them is that they give you a more immersive computer game experience. They have been crowdfunded, which means that a lot of people have decided that this is a really nice project that they'd like to get behind and chipped in and funded its development. And basically that's about it. This project, this device that people have been using, it's quite interesting actually. I'm not a big fan of VR and these kind of novelty type of devices. I always consider them to be gimmicks, but a lot of people decided that they wanted to fund or crowdsource this particular project, which would give them a more immersive gameplay experience. And I've seen a lot of people actually fit the Oculus Rift onto existing games like Fallout 3 to give them an immersive experience that way. So it does look like an interesting gadget. You see, a lot of people are really pissed off that Oculus Rift decided to sell out to Facebook, at least this early on, if at all, and they have every right to be pissed off. You see, when Oculus Rift decided to build their VR device, they obviously didn't have the money and therefore needed to appeal to their community and to the people who really liked the concept to actually fund this project. And now that the project is funded, now that this VR device is in the hands of gamers, they decided to sell their company directly to Facebook pretty shortly thereafter. And when you're in business, the traditional business model is that you invest in your own business, that you invest in your own product, and it is effectively a gamble. You are gambling on your product being as good as you hope it will be. But a lot of people are pissed off with Oculus Rift because they are taking this gamble with crowd-funded money, with crowdsourced money, and that's the real problem, and that's why people are really pissed off. And, well, a lot of people probably don't feel comfortable having something they love in the hands of Facebook as well. I have a lot of problems with Facebook. I don't have a Facebook account anymore because I had a lot of problems with their privacy. I had a lot of problems with how they ran as a company, and I decided that I was just going to cut the cord with them. And to be honest, I haven't been happier since, to be honest. Facebook is a shyster of a company. But what really kind of annoys me about this whole attitude is that conglomerates are really becoming the norm these days, whereas maybe 20 years ago they were the exception. There were only a few of them and they were there because they needed to be there because of the capital investment involved in what they were a conglomerate of. But nowadays it seems that every reasonably large business seems to have this attitude of domination, that they must expand and expand and expand, and not just within the borders of their own specialist area, but into other people's specialist areas as well, to go out seeking for competition just because, well, I don't know, maybe every company wants to have this kind of umbrella corporation feel about it, that it just kind of wants to be as big as it can possibly be for the sake of being as big as it can possibly be. Why can't a company just pick its sort of area, its specialist subject, and just become really good and dependable at that? I don't know, maybe it's got something to do with the fact that the internet seems to be reasonably volatile and that, you know, it's best to diversify your portfolio, and that in and of itself isn't a new concept, but to do it to the extent where the likes of Facebook and Microsoft and Sony are all trying to basically buy up as many companies as they can. I mean, even Yahoo's at it, as bad as they are at this kind of thing, and it strikes me as being particularly oligopolist of the, you know, commercial sort of atmosphere that we seem to find ourselves residing in, really. And it's not good for the commercial diversity, and it's not good for the consumer, because it basically means that rather than having a diverse marketplace, we just seem to end up with an oligopoly of just about 5 companies owning most of the online companies. And I don't really like that, because it takes away the independence of each of these little social platforms that we kind of have grown to know and love over the years. But also it stops, it's an attempt really to close out innovation, and and to close out the smaller guys, and it's really just a way to control this crowdsourcing thing, which is giving a lot of, well, companies and developers and all kinds of people this opportunity at actually being able to, you know, make something of their own small businesses. And I really think that even though companies like Sony and the PlayStation 3 and Valve and Steam seem to be embracing the indie developer, and I really like that, and certainly with Steam, I mean, it's a company that a lot of people have criticized for one reason or another, be it green lights or be it, early release schedule things that they do. But fundamentally, I think Steam is a really good company because it does give independent developers a platform. But what's really important to remember is that we want to give these independent developers a platform, and even if that means sort of taking a share of the profits, which Steam have every right to do, let's not exploit them. Let's not take away their independence, the very thing that's making them special, that's making them unique, and that's making them innovative. Anyway, guys, I hope that's some kind of food for thought. But yeah, I mean, this is kind of why people are pissed off at Oculus Rift for selling out, because that's not what people crowdfunded. They're basically, people feel like they've been bankrolling someone else's business investment, really, and that's not on. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. Until next time, I've been Chris Ware, and you've been awesome. Take care now.